Welcome back to ICU, where inner consciousness is unraveled and the intentionally competent you begins to reassert your clarity in a culture that's monetized confusion. Here in the ICU, we maintain a no-rent posture, and we always refrain for a higher standard of living. I'm still here, still reluctantly though, but still seated across from Uncle Donald, and now seated across from a second, more elusive antagonist, the algorithm. Like we always say, this is and never has been or will ever be armchair therapy. This is psycho-digital excavation. Today's episode is called Echo Chambers and the Emotional Algorithms, How Tech Hacked Our Soul. Or more appropriately, how we allow tech to hack our souls. This episode takes a critical view at the algorithmic systems that have replaced reflection with reactivity and truth with targeted trauma loops. Let's begin. And we begin by examining the algorithm. And what does that algorithm know? It knows your trauma better than you do. Let's start with this truth. You are not the customer. You are the product. Social media platforms aren't neutral tools. They are nervous system disruptors, engineered for profit, solely and simply. And what do they sell? They sell your attention, your fear, your reactivity. Tech platforms figured out early on, rage increases engagement. Outrage increases scrolling. They figured this out, and now they're leveraging those tools to make more money for themselves. While you walk around like a zombie, hypnotized by scrolls and likes. They realized that confirmation bias increases their revenue. They tap into those things. So they learn to feed you what you already believe and what already wounds you. And what's the result? A trauma echo chamber disguised as a timeline. And in coming back into our world today, we see how they're leveraging these tools, how this algorithm is being leveraged to the advantage of political systems. How MAGA and the machine colluded. Let's connect it back to the man across from me. Again, Uncle Donald. Donald Trump didn't just master media. He became the algorithm's favorite son. And why? How did he attain that? How did he achieve that? How did he rise to the top of the algorithm's favorite son? Because he triggered rage. He delivered sound bites. He fed polarization. And he thrives in the click economy. MAGA wasn't just a movement. It was a content strategy. And if you listened carefully to what all those who were behind him talked about, flood people with so much information that they get confused and they really can't focus on one thing at a time. And by the time they hone down on one thing, flood them with some more. So constant chaos. MAGA is a viral loop of cultural reactivity dressed in red, white, and algorithmic gold. And what is sad is a lot of these platforms didn't fight the disinformation. When anyone stands up to speak the truth, what do they call them? Fake news. Alternative facts. All these platforms monetized this disinformation. And too many of us, we call that dopamine rush, discernment. We are bombarded with so much information that we really think we are enlightened. But we don't really know what to do with the information. That's what saddens me. How does that affect us? How does that affect your nervous system? So let's examine the nervous system in digital captivity, because that's where we are. And to do this, we need to go a little bit deeper. So next time, when you're scrolling and you feel anxious, and you feel righteous, and you feel angry, you feel addicted to staying informed, you're not just consuming content, you are being conditioned. Your amygdala is being rehearsed. Your cortisol is being harvested. And what you think is clarity is often just emotional overstimulation curated by code. We weren't built to process the pain of the world in vertical video loops. We weren't designed to be constantly available for manipulation. This is digital trauma scaffolding. And we've opened our arms and welcomed it, even embraced it tighter. This pattern is what leads to the death of inner authority in the age of infinite input. And that's what Trump and his people figured out. Bombard you with so much information. I mean, it seems that the input is infinite. And guess what dies? Your inner authority. The authority to say enough. To say, you know what? I'm done. I'm not watching this. I'm not going to get misinformed. I'm not going to get programmed. Here is a spiritual tragedy. The more you scroll, the less you trust your inner compass. Why is that? Because algorithms mimic intuition. Algorithms mimic your intuition. Listen to that carefully and let that sit on your nervous system. Clicks replace contemplation. And volume, that noise, drowns out discernment. Know this for a fact. Inner authority cannot thrive in a system that profits from your disorientation. So ask yourself this. When did I last pause before reacting? When did I last choose solitude over scrolling? You take the phone from some people, it seems like they're going to, what they call it, when addicts are going into regression, withdrawal symptoms. This digital addiction, in some light, is even worse than the synthetic kind. Because you see people driving on the road with their children in the back seat, scrolling, texting. What is wrong with us? How do we allow ourselves to get programmed this way? Know this, and I'll repeat this phrase again to you. Inner authority cannot thrive in a system that profits from your disorientation. So next time, pause before reacting. Choose solitude over scrolling. And refuse to confuse exposure with education. Yeah, in the ICU, every week we practice something different based on what we're targeting. So this week's practice is a soul detox from digital capture. This week's ICU prescription is not a fast, it's a recalibration. And to recalibrate, we need to start by first what? Audit your feed. Take a step back and assess. Audit your feed by nervous system, not by aesthetics. Scroll your timeline. Ask, does this regulate me or de-regulate me? Then unfollow accordingly. Timestamp your triggers. Notice when you feel flooded. Write it down. Trace the pattern. For example, I feel hopeless every time I scroll before bed. And that's another thing. Why is your phone even sitting in your bed? At least 2 hours before you go to sleep. Cut yourself off completely from digital stimulation. That's a healthy inner authority practice. Your phone should not be in your bed. You have people who wake up to go use the bathroom and they grab their phones. Why? It's because you've been programmed. You've allowed yourself to be programmed, where it's like you're going through withdrawal symptoms if you don't have that phone next to you. Reclaim your brain. And I've told you guys before, the war is a war on your brain. Reclaim your brain. Reclaim your inner authority. Create a truth ritual. Before you consume any information, say it aloud. I'm not here to be manipulated. I'm here to see clearly. I will not trade discernment for dopamine. Reclaim that inner algorithm. Choose silence. Let your thoughts return to your body. Let your nervous system relearn what real presence feels like. And one of the things that I practice at home, and I have this conversation with my kids all the time, when you eat, don't put your phone on the table with you when you eat. You can't be eating at the same time you're scrolling. And I tell them, it shows complete disrespect for the food. It shows complete disrespect for the people who took the time to prepare that food for you. These are simple practices and simple habits that we can engage in to reclaim that inner authority. You don't let yourself be programmed where every second of the day you got to have that phone in your hand. It's unhealthy. That's not how the human body was designed. We operate like zombies because the phone pretty much dictates what you do. And you take the phone away, withdrawal symptoms. People on the road doing all kinds of craziness. You're putting your life at risk, your children's lives at risk, and more still, even people not related to you or not even linked to you, by texting and driving on the highway, texting and driving within communities. Let's start by practicing inner authority. Let's start with what we do in the ICU. Reclaim that sense of self. Let your nervous system relearn what real presence feels like. So in closing, let me say this to you directly. The algorithm is not your ally. It does not want you healed because it feeds off of you. It wants you engaged, even if it costs you your conscience, even if it costs you everything. It wants you engaged, even if it costs you your life. But you are not a data point. You are not a reactivity stream. You are a soul with sovereignty. Remember that. And every time you reclaim a moment of presence, every time you breathe before posting, every time you choose embodiment over rage, you are breaking that cycle. You are disrupting that machine, and you are returning to yourself. Let's focus on that. Let's reclaim our inner authority. Let's reclaim ourselves. Thank you for joining me during this episode. Next week in the ICU, we'll discuss politics of projection, how the unhealed elect their reflection. Until then, remember to always carry what serves you, release what doesn't, and keep walking forward with your ancestors at your back and your inner compass ahead as your guiding staff. May you diagnose wisely, resist kindly, and reimagine boldly. And please don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget to like. Don't forget to share. Don't forget to engage with us. Always breathe. Breathe. Take a breath. It sends that healing to your soul. And as always, don't forget to send love to your nervous system. Until next time, I see you.